Now we started, I think, 27, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody take a look at their number 27. Everybody take a look at their number 27. I'm not sure what that is. All right, negative 33 over 13. Check your work. If you need me to explain something, I'll do that.
I forgot to simplify. Yeah,
Yep, that's totally common. It doesn't look like it simplifies even. All right, so I understand your mistake. I definitely understand your mistake. Yes.
So I got everything right. To the point where it's up to 151 and over 39 and 52 over 39. I subtracted those.
And what'd you get?
I got.
I don't know what you got.
Sorry.
99.
99. Oh, and then you said.
Yes. Okay, yes, ma'am.
How did you get from 52 to negative 99?
Because I subtracted these two right here.
Oh, I thought it was like sideways.
Nope, you're good. Everything is fine. As long as you know.
Thank
You good now?
you. Yes,
All right. Here we go. 29 worked out to be 5/8. Everybody happy with 5/8?
Yep.
All right. Scroll down a little bit. 31. Okay, now we're into the easier problems. I felt like most people thought the decimals were a little bit easier.
Definitely.
All right. All right. But again, you always still have to make sure you added and subtracted properly. So 10.6, 33. Sorry, I don't know what just happened. Sometimes it does that. Hold on one second. Okay, 33 was negative 17.5 and 35 was 4.47.
Question for.
Listen, I'm going down all of them right now. I'm doing all of them. Go.
On 35, I
Sure.
got negative 4.53.
Oh, it is actually negative. Hold on a second. Oh. Let me, okay, yeah, we're subtracting 7.7. All right. When we subtract 7.7, 7.7 and 3.23. You with me on this? Does that make sense? And then there's 2 zeros. Right. Now, the first thing I try to tell kids is, are you adding or are you subtracting? And in this case, there's a negative and a positive, so we're going to subtract, correct? And then my answer is going to be negative, right? So again, you should be able to recognize this is a 7, that makes that a 9, and that makes that a 10. And so now, actually I didn't.
I just thought that the decimals had to line up.
Yeah, they did. I just was distracted. Let me show you one more time. All right, so this was negative 7.7. I'm not sure what's going on. Negative. It seems like it's my key. All right, let's see if this works. All right. Now it was 3.23. There we go. Sorry. Now there we go to 0. All right. Now we're just subtracting. You agree? And so this would be 6, 1. So now I would have 4.47. Is that right?
Okay.
Now, be careful though, because it still is what though?
Negative.
Yeah, negative 4.47. And that's why I try to tell kids it's better to put the negative, whether it's positive or negative, first, especially if it's negative. All right, especially if it's negative. Everybody good with that? All right, let's take a look at 37 now. Now, on some of these, all right, this one I believe there was a double negative, correct? So we changed to positive.
Yeah.
All right. Is everybody good with that being negative 9.4?
Yep.
And then 39, negative 23.2. Yes.
I got it. It's probably I got negative 22.
Yeah, the zero's at the end, right? Doesn't matter. Very good. All right, let's go to 41. Is 41 the same as negative 0.6? Anybody have any questions with that? Now, what I told the last class was that tomorrow or on your quiz, I'm not going to give you something when the variable is negative. That's technically like a two-step equation. All right, so what I ended up doing is I just changed all of the negatives to positives, but don't worry about 43 right now. All right, don't worry about it. If it were negative, it would be 3.4. Good. No, it's definitely 3.4.
Oh, okay.
Not negative, positive. All right?
So that one's negative.
No, the answer is
Just
3.4.
3.4.
If you were doing it with the negative there, it would be 3.4. All right, but again, that's what I'm saying. I didn't show you how to do that one yet. It's kind of like a two-step equation, so I'm not going to, don't worry about it. All right? Number 45 was 7.5. And 47 was 19.9.
Oh, I got negative.
All right. We're adding 6.5. Everybody feeling pretty good about that? All right. And then 49.
Yeah, we stopped at 47.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now,
I mean, at 45 is what you do. Yeah.
okay, so you guys haven't done this part then?
No,
Or are we doing the evens now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right? I did the odds with the other class. So
two odds.
your odds are gonna be for homework. All right, so here we go. We'll start with 48. Thank you. All right. So again, listen to what I'm saying now. Tomorrow, please listen. We're not gonna have negative variables. So just make sure you know that. Okay. So it's just gonna be one step. All right. Right now I have minus 24.5, so I have to do what? We're going to add 24.5. We're going to add 24.5. Now, here's the important part right here, guys. You're supposed to ask yourself again, remember, are we adding or subtracting?
Subtracting.
We're definitely subtracting because one's negative and one's positive. All right. Now, is your answer going to be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
24.5. You with me? 24.5 is positive. All right. Now, the question or what I'm trying to remind everybody is these numbers are not in the right order for subtraction. Right? So you have to switch it. So it's just 24.5 minus 12.3. 12.2. Perfect. Thank you. And again, I'm kind of hoping you're getting better with your mental math on that, right? You can look at all of those, 2 minus 1, 4 minus 2, 5 minus 3. There's no borrowing. There's nothing involved. All right, just make sure you line up the decimal. Yes.
I understand. Just the only part is, so since you put plus 24.5. Why did you subtract?
Because this first number is negative.
Oh, so
When you have a positive and a negative, you always subtract. All right, positive and negative, you subtract. They're both positive, both negative, you add. That's the rule. All right, so now on 50. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to rewrite it. A positive and a negative next to each other makes it a what? Good. 4.6 equals negative 20.4. Everybody good with that? So now I'm going to do what to both sides? Add 4.6, add 4.6. Those guys cross out. Now we have a negative and a positive. So what do we do? Add or subtract? Subtract. So now what I'm trying to convince you of, B equals, now is it going to be positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative, right? So put down the negative so you don't leave it out. Now when you subtract, all right, 19 and 14. So we're at what? Negative 5.8. Is everybody okay with that? Negative 5.8. All right, let's look at 52.
Wait,
What?
isn't it negative 50?
Yeah, that's what I said, negative 15. Thank you. Yes,
When is the test for?
the quiz is going to be on Thursday. So
Okay.
tomorrow we're going to review, and there's just not going to be as many numbers. All right. Everybody okay with that?
Yes, sir.
B equals negative 15.8. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
All right, so here we go. Let's look at 52. The double negatives make it a what?
Positive.
So I'd really like for you to rewrite it as x plus 0.3 equals 20.6. Man, there's something wrong with my brain today. 0.3. No, they don't. All right, x plus 0.3 equals 20.6. And now we're just what? Subtracting. Thank you. Subtract 0.3. Exactly. And again, at some point, you just say, I know what the answer is. All right? And I really and truly don't mind if you would have just said the answer is 20.3. All right? But right now, we're kind of in a process of making sure you know to solve one-step equations, we're always working backwards. All right? We're always working backwards. All right? Just like here, we're going to subtract 4, subtract 4. So P is equal to, now it's going to be positive or negative. Negative, are you adding or subtracting? All right, so it seems like you guys are in good shape. All right, so now 4.0 minus 0.3. You agree? That should be mental math, right? 3 point what? Negative 3.7. Everybody feeling good about that? Negative 3.7? Okay, so here we go. 56. Again, we see double negatives. So I'm going to rewrite it as x plus 25.1 equals 22.1. Now I subtract 25.1. Subtract 25.1. Does everybody see that? Now, I really prefer that you're learning to say, hey, is it positive or negative answer? Negative. Are we adding or subtracting? All right, you guys should be good now. Now, it's kind of in the wrong order, right? But since we know we're subtracting, we know it's out of order, you should be able to say 25.1 minus 22.1 is just what? 3. Yes, and you're right. It is negative 3. But the point I'm trying to make is that's why we write the negative down first. So I don't forget that. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm pretty happy with everybody knowing that that's what? Negative 3. All right. Now, a couple more to go.
It's a negative.
Yep, so we're just going to change this to a what? Everybody do me a favor and just change it to a plus. Change that to a plus.
I worked out the problem and put it in the
So the answer is what?
positive 1.3.
Just 1. Positive 1.
Oh, I meant 1.
Yep, that's correct. All right. Now, rewrite it here. Let's rewrite it as m plus 8.3 equals 7.3. Subtracting 8.3, subtracting 8.3. So is the answer positive or negative? Negative. Negative 1. All right. Yes, hopefully it's getting simple. After 100 and something problems, should be a little better. All right.
Just so I can mark it on here so I won't forget, how far do you want us to go?
All of them.
Oh,
Yeah, we're doing all of them today. All right. Now on 60. All right. How do I do minus 20.8? You add 20.8. You add 20.8. Now again, remember what I'm saying. All right. First off, R equals. Do you add them or subtract them?
Subtract.
Is it positive or negative?
negative.
All right, so I think we're good. All right, now you should be able to say 47 minus 20.
27.
27. All right, now I didn't include the 0.8s because we knew those were going to cancel out right off the bat anyway. All right, listen, 60 problems is pretty good. You should feel much better about adding and subtracting fractions with positives and negatives. You should also feel much better about adding and subtracting decimals with positives and negatives. All right, but again, me standing up here doing it and you writing it down is not helpful. All right, it's not helpful. All right, now I'm moving into the multiplication and division, and guess what? The multiplication division is much, much easier. Much easier. All right?
Can you kind of explain it a little bit?
This 62?
No,
Yeah.
just like this style of math. Like, I don't really
Well,
understand.
we're just solving one-step equations, and we're actually learning to train your brain to work backwards. That's all we're doing. So when you see addition, you're going to solve it with what? Subtraction. When you see subtraction, you're going to solve it with. When you see division, you're going to use, and multiplication, you use what? Division. Now, if you're still struggling a little bit, honestly, I have all the problems worked out. You with me?
It's not so much these, it's kind of the other ones. Like the ones.
The multiplication and division?
The fraction, with the fractions.
Yeah. We'll go back. Well, I'll go back and do a couple more because I think we're going to have some extra practice. All right, we're going to be done. All right, so here we go. Look at number 62. How do I undo division?
Multiplication.
So listen, all I'm doing, now look what I'm showing you. I'm multiplying both sides by 2. Now I don't put a times symbol, we put it in parentheses. All right? Now what happens to the times 2 and the divided by 2?
It cancels.
They cancel out. So all you have to do now is tell me m is equal to what?
28.
That's how simple.
Very simple.
That's so
All right.
hot. I
Yep.
like it.
We'll get done with these rather quickly, which will then give me some time for those of you guys who had some additional questions on the fractions. I don't mind going back. All right. Here we go. 64. How do I undo division?
Multiplication.
So now I'm going to multiply both sides by 18. I'm going to multiply both sides by 18.
So do you want
All right. So here we go. I cross out the 18s. So P is equal to.
Negative 1.
Very good. And again, a positive times a negative
It's a negative.
is the negative. All right. Now again, 18 times 8. 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 6 or 8 times 8 is 64. 64 plus 80 is 144. All right. Again, I'm trying to convince you to practice your mental math in class. All right. That's what you're doing. The numbers are low enough that you should be able to do that. All right. Here we go. How do I undo division? Now listen, guys. Again, I had to fuss at some of my kids last class because it's not about just knowing the answer is negative 12. All right, it's that you're understanding to undo division, we're what? We're multiplying. That didn't take me that long to put times 6 and times 6. All right, it just didn't. That's helping you, believe it or not. All right, so now R is equal to what? Negative 12. Because, of course, we're multiplying. Everybody good?
Yes.
All right, so now let's look at 68. I'm, again, undoing division, so I'm going to multiply by 14. So B is equal to positive or negative?
Negative.
8 times 10.
80,
8 times 4.
32.
32 plus 80.
Oh,
112. Come on, practice, practice. All right, you practice the mental math. Even if you're slower, it doesn't matter. If you don't practice, you're not going to ever get any faster. You should be able to tell me 8 plus 32. 8 plus 3 is 11, and 2 plus 0. That's all we're doing. That's how simple it is. All right, I read numbers left to right. All right, add the big ones, then add the small ones. You can do that. All right, number 70, here we go. Now, this is held together by what?
Multiplication.
So to undo multiplication, I have to divide. All right, so again, I'm just writing this down. That did not take me that long to do that.
So x equals
So I'm pretty confident with x being 3.
3.
All right, x equals 3. And if you're not sure, you just say 3 times 10, 3 times 9, 30, and 27, 57. All right, it's very simple. These problems are easy. So now on this one, again, I'm taking the time to divide both sides by -2. So everybody should confidently tell me A is -1. Not that difficult. All right, again, the multiplication division, most kids find it easier. All right. Now 74, dividing both sides by
14.
-14. All right, now here's where I want to try to show you something that some kids don't really want to do 14. They don't want to do the long division. So I try to show you now how you can reduce it like a fraction. And I know that 2 goes into both of them because they're even, right? So I know K, first of all, is going to be a negative number, right? So then off to the side, now 2 goes into 14 7 times. Now 2 goes into 19 9 times with 1 left over. So to me, that's very mental math. Now I'm just checking 7 goes into 98. 7 goes into 9 once with 2 left over, and 7 goes into 28 4. So the answer was -14. That's how I like to do. I don't like to do long division. So I try to reduce the fraction like I see it, whether a 2 goes into it, a 3 goes into it. Sometimes it's easier for you to see bigger numbers, but for the most part, I just don't feel like doing 14 goes into 196. Yes, you can do that if you want.
How I kind of do it is I do like what times like 4
Ends.
and 6.
That's right. That's another great way of doing it. And I know it has to be greater than 10. So 4 times 4 ends in a 6. So that's a good shot. All right. Here we go. 15. Undoing division. Multiplying by 6. So we say 6 times 16. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 6 is 60 plus 36.
96.
96. All right. And if you do it enough, pretty soon that's how I know the multiplication. All right. I just do it so many times that eventually you just know. All right. If you work it out, though. All right. Here we go. Hopefully you see what I'm saying. Now to undo dividing, we're going to multiply both sides by 6. So x is equal to -60. X is equal to -60. Everybody good? All right. So now let's do 80. We're going to divide both sides by 19. So I know B, negative divided by a positive is a
Negative.
So I put negative down. Now again, here's how I like to do the mental part of this. 19 I know goes into 28 one time, right? With a remainder of 9. Now the only number that ends in a 5 when you multiply it is what? 5, right? So I check that out. 5 times 19, guess what? That is in fact 95. All right, so my answer is -15. Is everybody okay with that? Right? Now let's go back to 82. Dividing by 10 means I'm going to multiply by 10. So n is equal to, -170. You guys should be good at that. All right, let's check out 84. Wow, that one's really easy. Now listen, don't even think of this as a problem, look up, please, guys. I want to try to show you something. It never ceases to amaze me how people don't look at that and say what? That was kind of funny. All right, so here we go. Listen to me, guys. I'm asking you this really silly question. Look, I'm not asking you to multiply both sides by 11. I'm asking you to look at that and say the fraction 1/11 has to be equal to what fraction with a 1 on with an x on top. So everybody see 1/11 can only equal what? 1/11. Does everybody see what I'm saying? So I would want you to say that's kind of a dumb question. The only possibility is for x to equal what? 1. Does everybody see why it's 1?
Yeah.
Right? 1/11 is equal to 1/11. All right. Here we go. Hopefully you understand me. All right, 86. All right, multiplying both sides by 14. Multiplying both sides by 14. Now, let's remember the rule for multiplying by 11. Remember, it's a nice little trick to multiplying by 11. A is equal to, if you're multiplying by 11, you write the first number down, 1. Then you add the 2 digits, 4 plus 1 is, and then keep the last digit the same, 154. All right, that's a good little trick. So just to review, look up here on the board. If I said 2, 3, 5, 1, 6 times 11, you should be able to tell me 2, 5, 8, 6, 7, 6 is your answer. Obvious, right?
Yes.
Right, so let's see, for those of you guys who's not so obvious, let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, anytime you multiply by 11, put the first digit down, 2. Then all you do is you just add 2 plus 3, 5. The next digit would be 8. The next digit would be, the next digit would be, and the last digit would be, good. 2, 5, 8, 6, 7, 6.
I thought you said you put the last.
No, because 6 plus 0.
Generally what happens is the first and the last digit stay the same. All right? And then the middle digits are the sum. All right? Nice little trick for multiplying by 11. All right? So here we go. How do we undo multiplication?
Division.
So we're going to divide by -6. And of course, negative divided by negative is a
Positive 9.
positive 9. Everybody good with that? All right. Let's take a look at 90. How do I undo division? So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. So n is equal to 15.
That was so much easier.
All right. So again, listen, I think you feel good about the multiplication and division. All right. So those of you guys who even feel good about the fractions, all right, just go back now and do the what? Odds. And I posted the odds just in case. All right. Now, what I do want to get back to is because someone asked me a question earlier, all right, and I really want to go back to the fractions. So what I want to do is I want to go to question number 8. Flip back, Carly, to number 8. Anybody else who would like some extra help with the fractions? Right now, I'm on question number 8. So here we go. What? No, not 29 right now. I'll do it in a minute. Look at number 8. All right. First thing, we're undoing addition, so I'm going to do what? I'm going undoing addition. What do I do?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. So I'm going to go minus 3 6/7. Minus 3 6/7. The problem is we have an improper fraction. So in my opinion, the easiest way is to convert 3 6/7 to an improper fraction because it already has a common denominator. So what I want to do is I want to tell you that this would be V is equal to, it's going to be 47/7 minus, how much? Thank you, 27/7. Right? Loud and proud. Make her be loud and proud. Yes, we're going to get her speaking up by the end of the year. She'll be
Screaming.
right, and we'll be begging her to be quiet. All right. Isn't that right? What?
Yes.
Say it loud.
Good.
Allison, you're so loud.
like
Say
a
something
man.
loud.
Yeah.
She's
All
loud.
right, here we go.
Scream.
All right, 47 minus 27 then would be what? 20 over 7. V equals 20 over 7. Carla, you with me on that or not yet?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
All right, so we're going to do another one just to make sure. You're good?
Yes.
All right. So here we go. Now, again, we have subtraction. So to undo subtraction, we're going to add. So we're going to do plus 4 2/3 plus 4 2/3. The problem here is, yes, ma'am.
For the last one, how did you get 22 negative 22 seconds?
27.
That's a 7
Oh, okay.
Do you see that, right? because we did 7 times 3 plus 6.
Yeah, I thought it was a 2.
All right, that's okay. That's okay. Come on. So now get to number 10. Hurry up. Get to number 10. All right. So now for number 10, I definitely don't want to convert this to mixed or to improper fractions because the numbers are too big. All right. So I'm just going to get a common denominator. Yep. And so I have to common denominator, which is 33. So I have to multiply by 11. So when I multiply this by 11, I get, listen, that this one stays the same. So it's negative 4 10/33 plus 4 22 over 33. Carl, do you understand that?
Yeah.
I just multiplied by 11. All right, so I'm going to put 11 here and 11 here. Now, the next thing we have to ask is, are we going to add them or are we going to subtract? Carly, you with me? We're subtracting. Do you understand we're subtracting? Because one's positive and one's negative. Now, the real problem here is if I try to subtract, I have the wrong number on top. Because the smaller number's on top, I need what? The larger number, right? Now, the next question is the answer going to be positive or negative? Is the answer going to be positive or negative? Definitely what? Positive. Because the positive number is bigger than the negative. All right? So the positive. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reverse the order. 4 22/33 minus 4 10/33, which is now pretty easy to see. 22 minus 10 is what? 22 minus 10. Wow. 12 over 33. And again, we already said the answer is positive. You good? What? Good girl. A little bit louder. A little bit louder. Almost above a whisper. Almost above a whisper. All right. Here we go. Let's have some more fun with question number 12. So everybody take a look at number 12. All right, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. All right. So here we go. Now back to normal. All right, here we go. To undo addition, we have to do what? Subtract. So I'm going to put a minus 2 3/10 minus 2 3/10. Carly, you still with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, now what do I have? I have this. I just want to make sure we see this. This is a 10 here. All right, so now I have to get a common denominator. The common denominator is 10, so I have to multiply the top fraction by 2. Carly, you still with me? All right, so now I have 3 8/10 minus 2 3/10. Now when I do the subtraction, 3 minus 2, 1, 8 minus 3, 5, 1 5/10. And of course it would leave it as 5/10. We'd make it what? 1/2. So I would say 1 1/2. 1 1/2. And again, I would write, don't forget, because occasionally P is equal to 1 1/2. Yes, sir.
So if you don't, or if it's a mixed number, but you don't want to do, you can make it a common denominator.
Yes, of course.
But even if you don't make it a common denominator, after you make it a improper fraction, do you have to get a common denominator?
listen to me. The easiest thing I can do for you on that question is to get to an example that has all that. Right? So generally what I tell kids, if it's already as mixed fractions, leave it as a mix. If it's improper, leave it as improper. All right? Nothing's going to be marked wrong if you got the right answer and I have it as an improper, but you wrote it as a mix. Hey, come on, I'm working. You get to work. All right? Here we go. So now I'm on 14 now. All right? I'm getting rid of the 7/9, so I'm going to subtract 7/9. Subtract 7/9. All right? Now here we need the common denominator, which is obviously going to be
42 or 72.
72. All right? Now, the next thing I want to ask you is, am I going to add them or am I going to subtract?
Going to add them.
You're going to add them because they're both negative. Now, when you add two negatives, it stays what? Negative. So my answer, again, look what I'm doing. I'm reminding myself about the positives and negatives. I'm reminding myself about the positives and negatives. All right? That way I don't have to worry about it at the end. But we said the common denominator is 72. Do we agree? So I have to multiply this by 8. All right? Negative 56 over 72 and 7 over 72. And they're both negative, right? So that would give me what?
Negative 56 over 72.
Negative.
Or negative, sorry. Negative. Oh, sorry, negative. Yeah, negative 63.
Right. So I believe now negative 2 and 63 over 72.
Rounded.
And then we can simplify. All right, because the 63 over 72 can both be divisible by or divided by 9. All right, so n is equal to negative 2 and, is that right? 7/8. Because we divided by 9, we divided by 9. Come on, Carly, you're asking me. We're doing it special. You good with that or not?
Yes, sir.
Come on now. Big day on Thursday. All right. Now for question 16. What do I have to do to both sides? I'm adding what?
2.
I'm adding 2 to both sides. Yeah, speak up louder. I'm going to ignore you unless you speak up louder. Did you hear me? What? Yes.
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 All right,
Yes.
here we go.
Yes.
Here we go. So we're adding 2. Now, what I need to ask you guys, listen, this is mental math, and I really want to talk to you about this mental math problem right here. All right, am I going to add them or going to subtract? One is what? Negative. One's positive. So we're going to subtract. Now, but listen to me, guys, please up here. R equals, I know some of you know already, but listen, stop and listen for a second. Please give me your attention. Give me your attention. I need this to be mental math. I need for you to say, how did you not know that? All right, I would like everybody up here to say the obvious answer is just 1 2/3. You just have to know that. If you don't know that, you're not very good at numbers. All right? Now, you can be really good at numbers after my explanation. All right? But like I said, think of it like this. You have 2 pizzas sitting in front of you. You ate 1/3 of one. That means what? 1 and how many thirds?
2.
You have 2/3 left. All right. So again, listen to what I'm saying about that. Listen. And again, I want you to see the visual. All right. So again, I just never understood the misconception here. All right. And again, the simpleness of the problem. Again, I always used to think in terms of pizza. So I have 2 whole pizzas. Now I knew that this meant I ate 1/3 of one. Now if you don't know that, we're in a little bit of trouble. All right? So this right here now, the pizzas are technically cut into what? Thirds. Right? So what I'm showing you now is you ate what? 1/3 of one pizza. Therefore, there were what? How many thirds left? There are 2 thirds left. So the answer is 1 whole pizza and 2/3. I'm telling you, that's how easy math is. That's how easy. And again, some of the problem is, for some of you guys who are making math too difficult, is that you're just not understanding what I'm saying. And you're trying to memorize things. And I don't want you to memorize. All right, does everybody understand how simple that was? Very simple. Now you apply the simple to the complicated. All right, that's all we're doing. All right, so let's take a look now at 18. All right, so here we go on 18. Is that it? All right, what did you want real quick?
Oh, I just said 29.
All right, you want me to try it again real quick? The answer to 29 is 5/8.
Because I had 6 and 4/8 over 5 and 7/8.
That's right.
And I had to make it until 5, so I did that.
That's right. No, 12. 8 plus 4 is 12.
3%.
8 plus 4 is
I just forgot to scale it.
When you borrow, you add the numerator and denominator. When you borrow, you add. You hear me?
Add.
Allison, you hear me?
Yeah.
Good job.
Yes!
Almost there. All right, here we go. Do you see
So
it?
it's 5/8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 5/8. Okay, thank you. That's great.